Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Top 10 Aviation. While the airline industry seems to be a modern era sector, it has been around for over a century. In this video, we will go over the 10 oldest airlines in the world that are still operating today. You'll discover how each of these airlines were founded and other interesting facts about them, so stick with me till the end to ensure you don't miss anything. If you enjoy watching my videos, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot for the support, and let's get started. Number 10. Grand Canyon Scenic Airlines. Grand Canyon Scenic Airlines was founded in 1927, then known as Scenic Airways. They were founded by J. Parker Van Zandt and his Stinson SM-1 Detroiter and Ford Trimotor aircraft. Officially changing their name to Grand Canyon Airlines in 1930, they are known as the world's oldest air tour company in continuous operations. They single-handedly brought high demand for Grand Canyon flights as they were the only means of experiencing the true beauty of the national treasure in a time before televisions existed. They continue to bring that experience to countless tourists to this day, and since its foundation, the airline has flown more than 100 million passengers. The airline was bought out in 2007 and renamed Grand Canyon Scenic Airlines. It currently operates out of the Boulder City Municipal Airport and Grand Canyon National Park Airport. Number 9. Iberia. Iberia is the flag carrier airline of Spain and was founded in 1927. Their birth came about as a general agreement between the German and Spanish governments authorizing air service between the two countries to circumvent the stipulations outlined in the Treaty of Versailles, which prohibited German aircraft access over France. Their maiden flight took place on December 14, 1927 from Madrid to Barcelona and took roughly 3.5 hours. Within a year's time, Iberia was sponsored by the Spanish government to provide postal transport between the two cities. In 1944, the airline was officially nationalized. 2 years later, it became the first airline to fly between Europe and South America following World War II. Fast forward to today, Iberia has become the world's third-largest airline after merging with British Airways to form the International Airlines Group, or IAG. However, the two airlines still operate under their respective brands. Number 8. Air Serbia. Air Serbia is the second flag carrier on our list. It serves Serbia out of its main hub at the Belgrade Nikola Tesla Airport. They originated in 1927 as Aeroflot and have gone through several transformations since that time. Aeroflot became the flag carrier of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia when Belgrade inaugurated its international airport. Aeroflot's presence vastly improved connections between different regions of the country. Throughout the 1930s, they expanded to various routes outside the country to locations like Italy, Greece, and Austria. After World War II, the airline was nationalized as JAT, Yugoslavenski Aerotransport. Political tensions between Yugoslavia and the Soviet Union led to Yugoslavia breaking ties with the Soviets. As a result, the airline's fleet almost fully transitioned to Western-built aircraft. As of 2003, Yugoslavia was renamed Serbia and Montenegro, and the airline renamed to JAT Airways. It only took a decade for the airline to be renamed to what it is known today, Air Serbia. Number 7. Delta Airlines. Delta Airlines had one of the most interesting starts. In 1928, C.E. Woolman saw the potential to use the crop dusting airplanes for commercial transport. As an employee of Huff DeLand Dusters, he witnessed a sharp decrease in demand for crop dusting during the summer months. The company had to take its winter operations to Peru, where it also operated international mail and passenger transport routes in conjunction with Peruvian Airways. Woolman took this idea back with him to the United States and eventually bought the Huff DeLand Dusters fleet and transitioned it for passenger transport. He renamed the airline Delta Air Service for the Mississippi Delta region it served. The rest is history, as Delta Airlines has become one of the largest airlines in the United States and one of the most recognizable names in the world. Number 6. Finnair. The Finnish flag carrier is approaching a century in operation. Founded on November 1, 1923 as Aero, it did not receive its first aircraft until 1924. This was a German Junkers F-13, a seaplane that used skis in the winter and floats in the summer. At the time, Finland did not have any commercial airfields. During their inaugural year, they specialized in transporting mail but also transported a total of 269 passengers. It wasn't until 1936 that Aero operated all flights from solid ground. A decade later, the Finnish state acquired a majority stake in the airline. That same year, they purchased their first Douglas DC-3, a former warplane turned into a passenger aircraft and one of the most popular at the time. Finnair was always used in Aero's marketing material, and in 1968, the company officially changed their name and rebranded to Finnair. Number 5. Czech Airlines. Founded in October of 1923, Czech Airlines is the national flag carrier for the Czech Republic. It was the first airline in the world to offer regular jet-only routes between Prague and Moscow. Political tensions plagued this airline during the World War II era. From 1939 to 1945, they ceased operations due to the German occupation of Czechoslovakia. Resuming by the end of 1945, they shortly began adding more international and domestic routes, which carried them through a massive expansion of international routes in the 1960s. In the next decade, they would begin making transatlantic tours to New York and Montreal. As the world's fifth oldest airline, Czech Airlines recorded in its history 19 fatal accidents, more than half of them involving Ilyushin, Tupolev, and Avia aircraft. Since 1990, no fatal accidents involving Czech Airlines were registered. It is with great regret that I discovered during the making of this video that Czech Airlines has filed for bankruptcy due to its overwhelming debt of 70 million euros. Number 4. Aeroflot. There is some debate as to the official foundation of Aeroflot, Russia's largest air carrier and one of the largest airlines in the world. The most agreed upon date is February 3, 1923, which is also considered the same date as the birth of Russian Soviet civil aviation era. However, in 1921, Vladimir Lenin had declared sovereignty over their Soviet airspace and shortly began mail and passenger flights over the Moscow, Oryol, Kursk, Kharkov route on May 1st of that same year, using Sikorsky Ilya Muromets aircraft. A decade later, in March of 1932, the name Aeroflot was officially adopted for the entire Soviet civil air fleet. Aeroflot became the flag carrier of the Soviet Union until the Soviet Union's dissolution. From then on, Aeroflot became a public company, but its ties to history remained. Number 3. Qantas. Australia's national flag carrier, renowned for its service and safety, has just celebrated a century in existence back in November of 2020. World War I veterans Paul McGuinness and Hudson Fish envisioned an air service connecting Australia to the rest of the world. On November 16, 1920, Qantas was born. Most people may not know, but Qantas actually stands for Queensland and Northern Territory Aerial Services, in ode to the Queensland and Northern Territory it originally served. Nowadays, you may know them by their nickname, the Flying Kangaroo. They have not registered a single fatal crash since the adoption of jetliners in the 1940s, and considered a consensus pick as the safest airline in the world. Number 2. Avianca. Avianca is the national flag carrier of Colombia and is the second largest airline in Latin America behind LATAM. They were formed on December 19, 1919 in the city of Barranquilla, Colombia, under the name SCA-DTA, Colombian-German Air Transport Company. They used German Junkers F-13s, which were mechanically modified to have engines that efficiently operated in Colombia's tropical climate. Modifications didn't end there. Floats were adapted to 2 Junkers aircraft to make water landings in different towns, since the country had a lack of airports at the time. Soon thereafter, investments in the airline came in, and by the mid-1920s already had an international route to the United States. Avianca was born in 1940 and became the national airline of Colombia through a merger of SCA-DTA and regional Colombia airline SACO. Before we discover the number 1, make sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video. If you want an aircraft model of any of the mentioned airlines of this top 10, check out the links in the description below. Number 1. KLM. KLM, operating under its original name, is the world's oldest airline in operation and was founded on October 7, 1919. They were designated as Royal by Queen Wilhelmina prior to KLM's official establishment as a commitment to growing the civil aviation industry. Their maiden flight was on a leased de Havilland DH-16 from London to Amsterdam's Schiphol Airport, carrying 2 journalists, a letter from the Mayor of London to his Amsterdam counterpart, and a stack of newspapers. By 1926, it was offering flights across Europe to places such as Paris, Malmö, and Bremen using primarily Fokker F-2 and Fokker F-3 aircraft. KLM continues to amount industry first to this day. In 2013, they made the first transatlantic flight fueled partly by sustainable biofuels to Rio de Janeiro, and in 2019, became the first airline to celebrate its centennial. Which airline do you think has the most incredible history? Let me know by leaving a comment down below. If you want to watch more amazing aviation top 10s, choose any of the videos you see on your screen right now. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you very soon.